Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Even in this heavy political season, let me take a short break from politics of the day to talk about something which isn't entirely apolitical. Unfortunately, it is being politicized, and I will give you my argument as to why it should not be politicized. And it is a tragic issue, and the issue is the crash or the shooting down of a Mi-17 helicopter of Indian Air Force on February 27 at Budgam, near its airbase, deep into the Indian side of Kashmir, by what now evidently is quite clear to be friendly fire. Now, a bunch of things have happened. Just recently, Manu Pabbi of Economic Times, a first-class defense correspondent, has reported that the initial findings of the Indian Air Force inquiry confirm that this was a friendly fire case. So, this now goes into the stage which is called summary of evidence, which in military law is the equivalent of framing a charge sheet in a normal court, criminal court. So, charge sheet will now be framed, that is summary of evidence, and in his story he said that it is possible that the officers who are held culpable of this will be charged with culpable homicide not amounting to murder, what in the Western world would be called manslaughter. Now, first of all, my editorial view and the print says that this is the fog of war, mistakes happen. It was also a conflict after a very long time. So, standard operating procedures, etc., sometimes get set aside. That is not to condone anything. People should be punished, but to criminalize it might be going too far. But that's only one aspect of it. The second aspect, which is now propped up, is this discussion both on social and mainstream media, particularly on TV, that somehow the media kept quiet about this, and the Air Force also hid this until the election process was over. So, I want to make a short point that this is unnecessary politicization, because one, journalists, reporters on the defense beat have no vested interest in hiding a story. In fact, no reporter would hide a story. Reporters would kill for a story. I mean, not necessarily kill physically, but that's, I'm using it metaphorically. And second, this isn't as if this story has come out only now. Sometimes, because in a polarized situation, we take one view or the other, we forget what's happened in the past. So, I will just give you a short listing. Feb 27, this incident took place. Remember, it's Feb, it's a short month. So, it's a 28-day month. Within a week, March 6, Manu Pabbi in Economic Times reports a story on page 1 saying that there are many questions about how the helicopter went down, and he hints at the possibility of friendly fire within a week and says that there are eyewitnesses who saw a missile fired from the base. So, this is very quick work by a reporter, nobody is trying to hide the story. Second, March 31, the same month, Snehesh Alex Philip, my colleague at ThePrint, again a top class defense reporter, he does a detailed story which says that it does look like missile fired from our airbase brought down our own helicopter. So, there were problems, there was a failure of systems, or there was somebody did not follow standard operating procedures. In fact, he even named the missile that was fired, that is the Israeli made Spider missile. I'll tell you about that in just a bit. And also he talks about whether the helicopters identify friend or foe system, or what is called IFF. Now, in layperson's terms, it's a transponder that every aircraft carries. So, when somebody, another aircraft, friendly aircraft or a ground system sends it a message like interrogating it, who comes there, friend or foe, it sends a message back saying friend. So, whether the IFF system did not work because it's a Russian helicopter, it's an Israeli missile system, or the IFF system was not on, or maybe it worked and someone on the ground was itchy fingered and fired, or lost his nerve and gave orders to fire. So in fact, on March 31, he did a story with all this detail. April 1 again, Manu did yet another story giving out more details of this. So this is very much while the election campaign was on. It was clear to everybody who was interested that this was a friendly fire casualty, and Indian Air Force was not hiding it, and certainly the media was not hiding it. And I'll tell you the good thing that happened. Because it was a sensitive issue, it concerned the lives of Indian soldiers who were killed in action. It doesn't matter by whose fire. They were killed in action, and they are as much battle casualties, or they have the killed in action status as much as any other soldiers who fight for the country against a foreign enemy. So no political party made an issue of it, because political parties, politicians are still more experienced people. They are thick-skinned. They know these things are better not politicized. Now that this has come up, questions have come up that Air Force was hiding it. In fact, Air Force has not revealed anything yet. Formally, Air Force has not yet said the inquiry is over. These are only journalists figuring out some leaks from the inquiry process. If these were wrong, these would have been denied, but I can guarantee to you none of this is wrong. This is very correct. So the procedure that follows now will take time, because after all, an army court also is not a kangaroo court. It has its systems. People are entitled to defense. Evidence has to be presented. So that is what now will go on. Now, just to give you an idea, since we have some idea now of what exactly happened. So this helicopter took off around the same time that, say, the same base scrambled fighters to intercept a large force of Pakistan Air Force jets that had come in about 120, 130 kilometers away from it, the other side of the Pir Panjal range. There is no possibility of a beyond visual range missile from there straying and hitting this helicopter. It has to be a local action. Second, in that high tension situation, a warning went up on a radar, probably the missile's radar system, showing a lock-on on a slow flying object. Now, a slow flying object can be a helicopter, but remember, a slow flying object can also be an armed vehicle or a drone or a large drone, and these days drones can carry weapons. So this was like battle stations and wartime, and there is a chance that the Terminal Weapons Director TWD at the base may have, I am not saying he did, may have issued orders to fire. So the missile battery fired, one missile went up, and this helicopter came down. This is a very effective missile. What is Spider? Spider is a very sharp and very quick missile system made by the Israelis, by a company called Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. Rafael, not Rafale, the French aircraft. RAFAEL, Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. And it's a combination of two missiles. That's why one is the Python missile, one is the Derby missile. That's why the name Spider, surface to air, Python and Derby missile, it's a mix. So launchers have a mix of missiles, we don't know which one was fired. Python is a lighter missile, Derby is a heavier missile. Python is about 105 kilos, 3.1 meters. Derby is about 118 kilos, 3.6 meters. Python has an 11 kg warhead, Derby has a 23 kg warhead, but it doesn't matter which one was fired. Both have a very good, efficient, laser guided proximity fuse, and a slow flying helicopter, large object with two big engines emitting a lot of heat, and unaware that it was under attack, obviously stood no chance. So what happened is very tragic. Obviously a mistake was made. Obviously nobody did this deliberately, but most certainly those at fault should be called to account without overreaction or a cover up. At the same time, precautions should now be built in so such things don't happen again. Having said that, in conclusion, I will also tell you that friendly fire deaths happen in every war, in Afghanistan, Iraq, with the best of technology, they happen. And to just give you a couple of examples from closer home, 1971 war, IAF in the western sector almost began the war inauspiciously with a MiG-21 shooting down another MiG-21. In fact, if you read the second book, I think it's called Eagles Over Himalayas, by PVS Jagan Mohan and Samir Chopra, the finest historians of air war in India, they mentioned this one loss of a MiG-21 to fratricide or friendly fire in 71. More recently, in 1987, shortly after Pakistan had acquired its first F-16s, and F-16 had become a big national symbol of pride, and I used to travel in Pakistan and I used to see trucks painted with F-16 and saying F-16. It became a national symbol. At that time, there was a famous or infamous incident where one Pakistani F-16 shot down another Pakistani F-16 over Afghanistan. In fact, it was the squadron commander himself, his name, if I remember, if I get it right, is Wing Commander Amjad Javed, who shot down his wingman, Flight Lieutenant Shahid. They were caught in a combat with a combination of MiG-23s and Sukhoi 22s of either Russian, Soviet or Afghan Air Force. So, and fortunately the wingman survived and hopefully continued to fly after that. But I am just trying to say that this stuff happens. And I will conclude with something that a top Air Force official told us, not now, almost within a few days of Feb 27. And he said, when we asked him what happened, and he said, you know what? In Snehesh's story, we had put 2 dots. So it was SH ... T happens. So that kind of stuff does happen in war. It's very unfortunate, but I once again would request everybody not to politicize this, not to politicize an error under great tension and the fog of war, and an error that cost the lives of our own countrymen. I can tell you, people responsible for this must be feeling rotten about this. They are the ones who must be feeling guilty, and this will bother them for the rest of their lives. So it's best to leave it to the system to punish who needs to be punished and to bring in the correctives.